What's up, family? As always, get this video a big thumbs up if you get some value. As always, I let off my thoughts, insights, and perspective, and you guys let off your thoughts, insight, and perspective down in the comments below, and we just have a conversation. So as you guys see in the banner, Caitlin Clark's brother, Colin Clark, responded to Washington Mystics owner. However, I want to recap so we guys be on the same page before we read the article from Fox News. So Washington Mystics owner, Sheila Johnson, she is the co-founder of BET, which is the Black Entertainment Network on television, national television. Basically, Caitlin Clark was awarded Athlete of the Year by Times Magazine. She gave her remarks in regards of saying that, and this is my recollection, right? You know, this isn't word for word, but this is what basically Caitlin Clark said, which caused a lot of uproar in regards of Caitlin Clark fan base because the fan base just want to embrace the sport of basketball. And we know the sport of basketball is may the best win and not get into these divisive talks or dialogue or rhetoric when it comes to black and white. But however, Caitlin Clark remarks when she was awarded and interviewed on Times Magazine, she said that white privilege exists. And also she said we should give credit, let alone visibility, not just to me, even though I earned everything that I have. Also, we should give credit to the women before me and the women in the league that have great talent, which are highly known as being, and when it comes to race, they are majority is African American, black woman, so to say. And the WNBA is built off the backs of African American or black women, she said. So we should give credit to those who are in the league, and also we can't be ignorant or not aware that this league was built off the backs of black African American women. So Sheila Johnson gave her remarks and she said basically, hey, why is for this league that been going on for the past 25 years, which we know, and if you do not know, this league is funded by the NBA, the Men's Basketball League, because investors, and in this case, owners, and these are the investors. The investors are owners that own NBA teams, and these NBA and owners in the Men's Basketball League had got convinced to invest in the WNBA and the Women League to exist to this day is because of these investors, which are NBA team owners for the Men's Basketball League, who have been funding and being a lifeline of the WNBA because they cannot fund their own league because they aren't making enough money, which translates to not selling really tickets and putting behinds in seats in this case, which is why the lifeline is based off the NBA, the Men's National Basketball Association, and their owners who own teams continue to plunge out money to keep this WNBA or this women league existing in the first place. And if you don't believe me, you can look it up. The WNBA has been still losing money for the last 25 to 28 years, and they've been losing money to this day as they lost 40 million within this year of 2024, okay? And that's a recap, because if you don't believe me, I can also give you an example. Herb Simon, he owns the Indiana Pacers on the Men's Basketball League, all the way back to when Larry Bird played and Magic Johnson. Herb Simon owns the Indiana Fever team, and that's where Caitlin Clark plays, and that's the organization she plays for. So these investors are getting tired because they're like, look, we plunged all this money for this women's basketball league to exist, and we don't have a return on investment because they're not seeing no money because they're not in the green. They're constantly in the red because nobody's checking for them. So with all that being said, Sheila Johnson took it among herself to respond to Caitlin Clark's Time magazine remarks and say why, and she backstabbed Caitlin Clark when Caitlin Clark was just bringing visibility to other people. But the fan base of Caitlin Clark was like, hey, man, why did you even add fuel to the fire and acknowledge this black and white thing? 60% of her fan base don't care about race. They just want to embrace the sport because they're the consumer and the customer, and they're seeking to see sports and entertainment, which is all it is in the first place. It's just entertainment and sports, but it's competitive entertainment. But instead, this league wants to be infatuated with drama queens. So Sheila Johnson, who is the owner of the Washington Mystics women's basketball team, she just basically said, why do Caitlin Clark have to be Athlete of the Year and be awarded, even though she earned it? Caitlin Clark earned it. Why do she got to be awarded and be on a magazine, on Times Magazine? Why couldn't the whole WNBA be on Times Magazine? Why are we pinning the success on one person when there's plenty phenomenal individuals in the league? Also, she just basically said, Sheila Johnson said, look, it just was a good draft class, and that came along with Caitlin Clark being part of this new draft class that came in recently, because we all know Caitlin Clark only played 1 year into the WNBA, and she had a phenomenal rookie season her first year. So now that I gave you the recap, now that I gave you the value, now that I put the candy in the medicine, let's talk about the statement. So it says Caitlin Clark's brother, and that's Colin Clark, seemingly responds to Mystics owner slight of sister's time cover. Sheila Johnson believes the WNBA as a whole should be highlighted, not just one player. The article goes on to read, Caitlin Clark's Time magazine cover was something Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson did not seem to appreciate after a record-breaking WNBA season. Well, Clark's brother, Colin, appeared to send a jab back at Sheila Johnson's way. Colin Clark reshared an old video from Front Office Sports on September 19, 2024 of this year, which showed a record 20,711 fans in attendance at Capital One Arena in Washington for the Mystics game against his sister's Indiana Fever. Let's scroll down. It is the largest crowd to date in WNBA history, and the Mystics actually moved the game from its usual entertainment and sports arena to the Capital One Arena to appease more fans in the 20,536 seat arena. So basically, they moved to the Capital One Arena, which is where the Washington Wizards of the Men's Basketball League, the NBA, play at, because at the end of the day, we all know Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal marketing tool. That's why she has the sponsorships that she have, because we know that she's valuable enough not only to this league, but she's valuable within herself because she have earned the spotlight and also earned her keep because she have earned everything that she has received because she put in the work, and also she's phenomenal at what she's do. And there's greats, and there's some people that's great at basketball, and there's some people that's just good at basketball. Give you my example in regards of the men's basketball league. Dennis Rodman was not considered a GOAT. He was just considered very great and very efficient and very phenomenal when it came to defense. The same thing as Scottie Pippen. But Michael Jordan was the one that was the GOAT, right? He was the one that orchestrated the whole thing. But also, it's a team sport, so they all come together and play at their strengths, working at their weaknesses. Not to get off topic with my tangent, but the point that I'm making is, at the end of the day, we all know that Caitlin Clark changed the trajectory of this league and also gave more visibility than ever, where she have individuals like myself, and I'm speaking for myself, that even are looking and checking for this league in the first place, because we know that this league has been in the red for years, 28 years. And at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark cut the cost for how much they lose. They have been losing years to come before Caitlin Clark came in this league. And that's why these investors are like, look, man, I want my money in return on investment. And Caitlin Clark was the one that was the ultimate hope, because she changed the trajectory in regards of the whole WNBA having all her colleagues and all of them now going on to charter flights. They wasn't going on to charter flights before Caitlin Clark came into the league. That's how much of visibility that she brought to the league and how much value she is, let alone putting butts in seats, which translates to money. And at the end of the day, that's why the WNBA ratings went up this 2024 year that she came into this year as a rookie. And that's why everything went, shebang, phenomenal. And hope was there. But she let a lot of fans down due to her entertaining this divisiveness, let alone trying to bend the knee and appease these individuals that continue to stab her in the back. Because at the end of the day, let's call the facts out for what it is. It's never enough. That's why Sheila Johnson had to make these ignorant remarks. But check out this video in regards of the Front Office Sports that her brother, Colin Clark, had mentioned to remind Sheila Johnson how valuable his sister is. It says a record 20,711 fans were in attendance for Fever Mystics tonight, the largest crowd in WNBA history. What up, family? But let me get the audio fixed. Excuse me for a minute. 1 second, 1 second. Check it out.
Game in WNBA history.
So I'm gonna play it again. I had to check my sound levels. Look, we are authentic here, family. Ain't nobody perfect. Check it out.
Capital One Arena. The official number, 20,711. It has now become the largest attended game in WNBA history.
Well, family, there you have it. That was the reminder that Caitlin Clark's brother had to remind Miss Sheila Johnson. Give her a wake-up call, right? So we scroll down as the article continued to go on to say the WNBA saw their most watched regular season in 24 years, while also seeing record attendance with a rookie class that was headlined by Clark, Angel Reese, and others. However, Clark's presence as the number 1 overall pick out of Iowa, where she already had a massive following as she became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history, helped the WNBA's viewership, social media engagement, and more explode. Man, let's give a round of applause for that, because I feel like at the end of the day, these women won't never be appreciative, because basically she's the golden goose and she's the one that's actually putting food in their mouths. But we know the real, right? But this is what she said within Times Magazine, the quote. Exact word for word. I've been able to captivate so many people that have never watched women's sports, let alone women's basketball, and turn them into fans, Clark told Time in her interview with the magazine for her Athlete of the Year cover. However, Johnson took exception with Time, believing the WNBA as a whole should have been highlighted instead of just Clark. You know what I'm saying? So I gave you guys the recap. That's what Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson said. I'm not going to read this because I already gave you guys the recap in regards to everything at the beginning of the. So let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments. I really want to know you guys' thoughts and perspective and insight on this. At the end of the day, I'm not mad. At the end of the day, he should stand up for his sister and let the facts be told. At least my man is saying facts and he's not taking it personal. He just said, "Look, man, I'm gonna give y'all a wake up call real quick because you must not know." So next we move on to a sports analyst. Basically, when I mentioned visibility, Caitlin Clark brought more visibility than ever to the WNBA. Well, he had something to say in regards to visibility when it came to the Caitlin Clark effect. Check it out.
Call her what she is, which is the face of the WNBA.
But yeah, what we don't want to hear, Marky, and good morning, good Monday morning to you. What we don't want to hear is ridiculous statements like that, okay? Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA and the NCAA women's basketball tournament got its highest ratings of all time. 48%. It was up the attendance in the WNBA thanks to Caitlin Clark. And the Mystics, get this, they're 31%, Marky, of their overall attendance came from the 2 games that Caitlin Clark played in that arena.
So yeah, there wasn't just all of a sudden a huge contingent of Indiana fans in D.C., right, out of nowhere.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling that someone who's apparently quite successful, this owner, would make comments like this. You know, there was a time, Marky, when the NBA wasn't that popular. Go back to the 60s and the 70s. Then a couple of guys came along by the name of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Yep.
One white guy, one black guy. Okay, they elevated the entire league. Then a guy by the name of Michael Jordan, a black guy, came along, and what did he do? He elevated all the other great players in the league. Nobody named the NBA the athletes of the year. It's a total joke to make that comment. Caitlin Clark is trying to take the high road, and I've rarely had advice for her, Marky, but I'm going to give her some now. Caitlin, you don't need to take the high road anymore. You've taken it plenty of times. Go do what you do. Be popular.
Exactly.
I paid thousands of dollars, Marky, for Taylor Swift concert tickets. Why? Yes. Because that's what the market bears. Nobody's complaining that she's a white female. She's a very successful artist, just like other successful artists, whatever their background is. The economics take care of
the Clarkonomics. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not Clarkonomics. It's basically, at the end of the day, the market goes in the direction that the consumer go in. So if it resonates with the people, it will sell, right? At the end of the day, people resonate with Caitlin Clark. She is just focused on basketball and bringing the ultimate sole purpose to be emphasized, which in this case is basketball, and which is the people want to watch basketball. They want to watch skills. They want to watch people compete. They don't care about all this non-cynical divisiveness. The country is already divided enough. So at the end of the day, I like his examples with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan, because at the end of the day, those individuals could have easily ran into the Victim Olympics and ran into talking about color and race baiting and race hustling and all these things. However, they let them skills speak for themselves. And when you are qualified and you're great at what you do, at the end of the day, it will speak for itself, and the market will turn into the direction in which you know that you are valuable for, and they will see your worth because the people will resonate with you. So what I'm saying is this owner is basically spewing ignorance, and at the end of the day, which is why this league, and in this case, the WNBA, has suffered and continue to suffer, because you have individuals like this who just continue to feel entitled just because of the color of their skin. It's no other way to put it. And at the end of the day, just because the color of your skin, and black people in so many cases, not all, but I'm speaking to the majority, not the minority, this does exist in regards of just because of the color of their skin, they feel entitled. But at the end of the day, doesn't necessarily qualify for whatever they're trying to feel entitled about, to why they should have whatever they should have in regards of why they're complaining about not having whatever they want to have. You are freer than ever. You just have to earn, you have to work, and you have to earn an honest living in regards of earning and what you get. You get what you get based on the decisions that you make. And at the end of the day, like he said, Sheila Johnson is very successful. So to see her spew this ignorance is what's holding the league back in itself. Why couldn't you come together and women together within the feminine movement, the Me Too movement, all that, when it came to women, come together for the best sole purpose of the unity of the WNBA and bring more visibility than ever along with Caitlin Clark? Why go against something that's actually doing something conducive and actually resorting it back to the very thing of why the league exists in the first place? So I find it very contradictory, because Sheila Johnson had remarks of saying, oh, it's starting to be talks about race and I don't like it. But then she goes into being divisive and saying vile things talking about race. You can't have it two ways. You got to pick one. And at the end of the day, that's how people looked at Caitlin Clark. She should have just stayed on the high road, do what she do great, and ignore the nonsense, because that's what they wanted her to do, to entertain it. Misery-like company, right? We all know that, to keep it simplistic. But at the end of the day, let's finish to see what he had to say. He's doing a phenomenal job in regards of showing similarities and how leaders did what they did and greats did what they did, and they never fell into this race-based or race rhetoric. Because Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, as much as they wanted to pin each other together with the intense race card, Larry Bird just like, look, I just want to play basketball. Michael Jordan just wanted to play basketball. They all just iron sharpened iron. They pushed each other together. And I feel like, in my opinion, not to get off topic, but the NBA is not as great as it used to. And that's why the ratings is going down, because you have people like what's his name? What's his name on the Spurs head coach? Greg Popovich is going woke, and at the end of the day, it's been a LeBron show for too long. Let's continue to wrap this up.
This is just, we got to get over this. Let's play basketball when it's WNBA time. And Caitlin Clark, be proud of all you've done. She's a generational player. That's
so why would
changing the way
she
the game
speak
is
out
played.
in this way, Patrick? I mean, the owner of the Mystics, I'm sure she'd be happy to have her on her roster and bring those kinds of butts and seats to every single game. I mean, if Caitlin Clark is the rising tide, why speak against her, especially in a league where, you know, people switch teams, you're traded?
Right.
I mean, but why?
Can you say
She knew
jealous?
this would get that kind of headline and reaction.
Yeah, can you say jealousy, Mark? That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, you're going to throw out the race card. I don't know if that's part of it. All I know is that there's been a lot of great players in the WNBA. And there still are a lot of great players other than Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark's a great player. And Caitlin Clark's the reason why many people, many sponsors, and many new television stations want to put the WNBA on. Okay, that's just a reality.
Exactly. They're so busy talking about yesteryear, focused on the now. At the end of the day, the social media age is more bigger than ever. And at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is essentially the moving piece in regards of changing the whole trajectory of the WNBA as times have evolved when it came to the social media age. And she's the marketing tool that's great for this league to keep up with the times, but also go green to actually have a return on investment and make money within itself as a league and actually have a league, actually be a league that funds itself, right? So and not continue to depend on investors. So the whole point is, when someone is so undeniably great and the truth speaks for itself and the results is shown, there is no way to put it but envy and jealousy. But I'm gonna leave it there, folks. Let me know you guys' respective thoughts and insight. I hope you guys got some value from it. If you did, just give this video a big thumbs up as a price of commission. At that note, family, peace.